like that for many years, where the US advised, or the Civil Aviation Authority advised, airliners not to fly over Syrian airspace, but somehow it was okay to fly over Ukrainian airspace. And that's because, the responsibility is not over on their heads. So I think that, especially in that area where the responsibility lies, to just say it's Putin, it's basically just such bias that we've been seeing in the media right now. Even I laugh because I also recall during the Winter Olympics, the media against the Winter Olympics was so strong because it was held in Russia, and I believe there was some hashtag like Putin fail or Russia fail or something along those lines. Just the beat up, and it's just like the return of the Cold War, I think.
But this time, we act more like the old Soviets than Russia does. It's really freaking the military out right now. Let's go to some phone calls. We're going to go to, is it Hubu? Habu? I always pronounce his name wrong. He's called before. And then we've got General, George, Mike, David, and others. And David's calling in Spain, so we'll go to him first after we talk to Hubu. Thank you for coming on, sir.
Thank you very much indeed. And as usual, you've been spot on with the Ukrainian matter. But what is really the good thing that you do to humanity is that you've got a worldwide reach, a global reach, and you are doing the rebuttal in real time, which means then something's not going to happen, and then 1 month later we discover it. You are hitting him right in the nose. So good for you, and bless you. The last time I called, when Syrian Girl was on, I mentioned, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, that it would help the Syrian authority to have Iranian and Hezbollah, and they did enter the fray, and they did turn it around. Here's my question to Syrian Girl. Right now, it seems like ISIS has got a lot of booty, meaning they've got almost, by some estimates, $2 billion, and they've got advanced armaments. If they are pushed out of Iraq, is this going to create almost a monstrous problem for Syria? Because...
Oh, no, that's the plan. They're letting them reconnoiter in Iraq and then get more weapons and then go back into Syria. This is clearly a regrouping either way. If they can't take Iraq, that's okay, because they can then regroup and smash back into Syria. Syrian Girl, your take on Habu's great question.
That's a really, really interesting point. Would, running away from Iraq and into Syria, it could also create problems for Syria. But at the same time, I think that ISIS is controlling oil fields in Iraq and in Syria. So it's sort of they're feeding each other. ISIS in Iraq is propping up ISIS in Syria and vice versa. So if we can get rid of them in Iraq, maybe it actually would be beneficial for Syria and vice versa. I think that it's important for Iraq and Syria to coordinate attacks against ISIS together. And indeed, they are sitting on a lot of booty. They have taken a lot of oil fields. But I think in order for them to have access to all of those oil fields and all of those weaponry and to achieve these military gains, they would have had to have had a strong backer and a lot of money coming in from a state for them to achieve this.
All right, sir. Good to hear from you. Thank you. Let's talk to David in Spain. Go ahead.
Hi. Alex, Syrian Girl. Hi, my name's David. I'm calling from Spain, from Europe. I was just listening to the radio show. I was listing a series of countries: Iraq, Libya, Syria, Russia, China, even ISIS. And what I understand is that predominantly Iraq was Saddam was a friend of the West, was funded and put in power by the West. Gaddafi was the same. I understand that, and this is a question for you, Syrian Girl, but I understand that Assad had links to the West and was at one point a great friend of the West. We know, because you've been speaking about it earlier, Alex, that back in the 20th century, the West got involved with the Russian situation via the Rothschilds at some point. We know that Kissinger's been doing deals with China, and it's incredible. And I disagree with you, though, Alex, because you say we're heading off to war. I don't think we are. Not yet. because the Russians and the Chinese aren't powerful enough to have a good old bash at it, right? And they need to have better weapons, better military, better naval, and it's my belief that it's the West who are selling them all that equipment and training, etc., just as they do with ISIS, and just as we know.
Well, when I say we're marching off to war, just to be clear, there's already a bunch of wars breaking out in Africa, in Syria, all over the Middle East, in Ukraine. We're just here, or you're in Spain. I mean, you've had riots in the streets off and on. Look what's happening there. So I think we're both right. But when I say nuclear war, I'm saying that card is in the deck. And it could happen if we don't worry about it and talk about it and think about it. But I tell you what, I'm going to come back and get Syria Girl's take on that. But what do you say to what I just said?
My point is this, Alex, is it's the West who are selling them the equipment, and they're not going to be ready for another 2-3 years. Now, I'm in the Joel Skousen...
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. We'll be back. Stay with us.
A 30-day GMO-free emergency food supply for only $99 at 30dayfoodsupply.com. You can purchase Oregon Trail Foods' 1-month supply of high-quality, nutritious, and healthy emergency meals. For less than $100, these vegetarian meals are naturally high in fiber, carbs, and protein, and they're packed with oxygen absorbers in Mylar pouches. They're completely free of any artificial flavors and colorings, have a 20-year shelf life, and take up to 70% less space than number 10 cans. They even offer a gluten-free option. Oregon Trail Foods and 30dayfoodsupply.com keep prices low by buying directly from the producers in Oregon and then passing the savings to you. Purchase a 30-day, 90-serving emergency food supply for only $99 this month, and $10 ships your entire order. Visit the website at 30dayfoodsupply.com or call 541-229-0010. That's 30dayfoodsupply.com, where they make preparedness affordable. 30dayfoodsupply.com.
We travel so much, and having a fake TV, well, it gives added peace of mind.
Burglars look for houses that appear to be easy targets. But fake TV can fool even professional burglars into thinking someone is home watching television.
As a recent widow living alone, it gives me great peace of mind to set my fake TV near a window and know that passing motorists and pedestrians will think someone is home watching TV when I'm actually away from home.
Fake TV easily plugs into any outlet, just like a light on a timer.
And they're so easy to use. You just plug them in and they're ready to go. Plus, they're so affordable that we have one upstairs and downstairs.
Fake TV is only $29.95 with free shipping. Order your fake TV by calling 877-5-FAKE-TV or go to faketv.com. That's 877-532-5388 or faketv.com. Fake TV, the burglar deterrent.
Hey folks, this is Larry Crisp for BabyBoomerBackupPlan.com. I don't have to tell you, this economy sucks. Unlike the political elite and Wall Street bankers, you know that debts don't disappear and bailouts have big consequences. Stock and real estate market bubbles can pop at any moment and evaporate most or all of your retirement savings. Folks, we're in the weakest economy of our lifetime, and it's likely to get much worse. Virtually zero sectors of the economy are hiring, and workforce participation is at record lows. And I'm here to tell you, this may be the best thing that could happen to you if you move decidedly and develop a backup plan immediately. Proportionately more millionaires were created during the Great Depression than at any time in history, and history is about to repeat itself. Get my free report at BabyBoomerBackupPlan.com or call 888-507-8789. That's 888-507-8789.
I thought it was up there 30 minutes ago. It hadn't been put up yet. It's now been put up on Infowars.com. We tweeted it out at Real Alex Jones. Please retweet it. Matt Drudge predicted the future. Matt Drudge is a top futurist. Matt Drudge Changed the World is the name of the video. We're going to make it the featured video on the Alex Jones channel on YouTube as well. So that's happening right now. Let's go back to Syrian Girl. David, I got to jump on to other people, but Syrian Girl, you want to comment on what he just said?
I just wanted to correct some of the comments, such as Russia and China are buying weapons from the US. I don't believe that that's true. I think China is still buying from Russia. I think the Russians might be buying microchips, though, from a French company called Thales, because the US is still the best at microchips. But I also wanted to correct about Assad being a friend of the West. Bashar al-Assad was actually, this current president, was being sort of, the West tried to seduce him in 2008.
They set up Gaddafi, too. He invested all their money, worked with them, let all their ops in, they set him up. And the same thing with Assad. He was trying to work with them while they got their people in place.
But Assad wouldn't play the same ball game. I mean, Gaddafi decided to disarm himself of chemical weapons, but Assad in 2004, they asked him to disarm his chemical weapons in exchange for peace. He said, you know what, I'll disarm when the entire Middle East disarms of WMDs. That was proposed to the United Nations. Of course, the US vetoed the proposal, and we ended up...
Yeah, you got to love how this moral high ground where the West has all these weapons that nobody else can have weapons, even if they've never used them. It's like 9/11 happens and we blame Saddam. It's just I mean, why not attack Australia or the North Pole? I mean, Iraq had nothing to do with 9/11.
Absolutely. It's all part of the agenda to just disarm them of these weapons. And I do wanted to agree with you, though, that we are already in a war. And we are already heading towards a threat of war, and it's like sticking your head in the sand if you don't examine the possibility of there being a war, let's say, where the West is involved.
Sure.
Because that's really what it means.
Well, look, they're not building giant bunkers for the elite everywhere, and the elite aren't leaving Israel and other places for no reason. I mean, this is a big deal. But I agree with what David said. It's going to get worse down the road. I think things will just continue to deteriorate as long as these psychopaths are running things. And again, they hate us here in America, folks. The globalists hate us more than they hate the Syrians. They hate anybody that's sovereign, anybody that's got guns. Let's talk to George in Connecticut. Thanks for holding her on the air.
Hi, Alex. I just have one question from Syrian Girl and a battle plan after I finish with her. One question. I had stayed with some of the very high officials in intelligence at their house, and they had lots of connections with the airlines. Being you're in Australia, and I'm sure you're a little bit familiar with the politics of Malaysia, since it's north of you, where your residence is now. Do you think that either they were duped or they were blackmailed, or there might be some sort of connection there? I'm just curious.
Do you mean the airline, maybe somebody wanted to make sure that the airline would go bust? That was one thing that sort of occurred to me.
Well, I mean, here's another deal. They just flew through Syrian airspace the day after the shoot down, where you're not supposed to fly. I mean, they're trying to get those planes shot down.
Seems like it's just bizarre that it just happened to be a Malaysian airline, twice. It's beyond a coincidence. But as to the reason why, I can't at this point make a guess, because it wouldn't be accurate.
Yeah, caller, what was your battle plan point?
The battle plan point, I think we should do something that Amnesty International always does. They sent letters out to various officials trying to either release people or whatever. In this stead, I think we should do the reverse. We should send postcards, only postcards, no World War III, no Lusitania to George Soros.
Hey, I tell you what, stay there. We're going to do some overdrive. Let you get a final comment, George, then we'll go to Mike.
GCN.
And General, I don't know if I can get to Michigan Patriot. We're going to try. But that's a great idea. Let Soros know we know.
General, what do you think about the FBI saying that there's a terror alert on Monday about a potential Fort Hood situation?
The police are shoving people, shoving Alex, shoving the crowd.
Here we go, folks. I'm being assaulted. Whether it's the radio show, the news websites, documentary films, or the nightly news, InfoWars is the tip of the spear.
Is this another false flag stage attack to take our civil liberties and put more homeland security while sticking their hands down on the pants on the streets?
It's up to us to set brush fires in the minds of men and women everywhere. And that's what PrisonPlanet.tv is designed to do.
You watch the Assad
Assad regime is going to be blamed or accused of using chemical weapons against the so-called rebels.
What we see now is a war against reality. It's a war against the truth.
It's more vital than ever that supporters of freedom become members of PrisonPlanet.tv and share their membership with up to 11 friends and family. Visit InfoWarsNews.com today. Become a member, share your membership, and help take the InfoWar to the next level.